Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Dylan Silver, and today on the show I have Dan Ahlborn in Southwest Florida.
Yeah, man, I got the shirt to rock to kind of represent where I'm at today.
I am jealous. Dan is a successful real estate investor, author, and coach known for transforming lives through faith, mindset, and business. Dan, welcome to the show here.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad I have a chance to shop with you here today.
Before we hopped on, you mentioned doing business in Wisconsin, but based out of Florida. I said, I'm jealous. I don't know if I can do it now, Dan. I said, I'm jealous. The Florida just seems to be the place for real estate entrepreneurs, whether business is in Florida or not.
You're right, man. I mean, since I moved down here, the amount of networking that I realized, like, oh, so-and-so lives down here. Oh, so-and-so lives down here. I mean, Florida's a very big state and it's very long. Trust me, I know I've driven it a few times to head back to Wisconsin. But yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous down here. But it's a long time in the making. This wasn't to happen overnight, and it was very intentional. So maybe something we can talk about today.
Let's talk about that. I want to talk about going from Wisconsin to Florida, right? Because I think there's not a lot of palm trees in Wisconsin that I'm aware of.
Well, yeah, the story is, so a little backstory is, I've been in this business now for about 16 plus years, and really took me about 12 years to really figure it out. I'm a slow learner, Dylan. And what I found early on is that the reason it took me so long is I was my biggest obstacle.
Yeah.
I was doing deals. I'm sure there's a lot of people listening right now. It's like, you've done a deal, right? And it's like, well, why can't you have the second deal or the third deal? I see, so-and-so in my market doing 3, 4, 5 deals a month, right? Then you kind of dealing like the comparison syndrome. Well, what I figured out, there was a few things. One, I had a lot of self-limiting beliefs. So I could not push past the idea like, I can't do more than 2 to 3 deals a month. That's just not something I know they do that, but I couldn't. Now, the other thing I learned too is that, I didn't have a lot growing up. My family, we weren't poor, but we weren't rich. Let's call it that way, right? So I had a real issue with wealth and money. And I didn't feel worthy enough to be able to make it. So every time I would get so close, and any entrepreneur that's listening knows this, that you get so close to being successful and then an obstacle comes, right? And most people that are successful, they figure it out, right? They get past the suck. Well, I would just stop and fold like a wet paper towel. So every time I had chances to maybe level up, I would stop it. So it took a transformational thing for me to happen. So I had a partnership. I was in with some great friends of mine. In 2020, we started a business. We were in for 3 years. They came to me one day and said, Dan, we love you. We just don't like being in the wholesaling business anymore. And that rocked my world. Like, that was my bread and butter. They were kind of in the multifamily space. And I guess the long and short of it, I had to figure it out, right? So earlier in that year, I was, in Wisconsin, and February in Wisconsin, quite honestly, is brutal. It gets cold. We're talking negative 20, 30. And I walked outside, my face hurt. And I said, I don't want my face hurt anymore. And it's always been on my wife and mine's vision board to move someplace warm near the ocean.
Yeah.
And we got really intentional, and we made the move down here in November of last year, and built out my business in 2023 to work extremely exclusively virtual. And all my business still operates in Wisconsin, and I get to sit down here and enjoy sunshine and 80 every single day and an occasional thunderstorm. So,
Dan, do you feel like humans, I can speak for myself, and probably
yeah,
you feel similarly, we're meant to be living in probably a climate more suitable towards what you're living in now than Wisconsin? Because I grew up in New Jersey. I lived
yeah,
in Boston for 6 years. I'm in Texas now, so it's good, right? But I'm in North Texas. We get a lot of tornadoes, right?
sure.
And I feel like, man, every time that I'm through Fort Lauderdale, I'm like, this is it. This is it.
I'll be honest, Dylan, I'm a Floridian now. I mean, I'm not just a guy that comes down here to winter or holiday. I did the full deal. We burned the boats outside of my, holdings that I have up there. We left our personal residence, but yeah, it's beautiful down here. But I will say this, I think someone made this point once about like living in these colder climates, and maybe this was on Rogan or something. I heard someone else say this. But it does something about you. It toughens you up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful down here in Florida. Don't get me wrong. I love it. And when all my friends and family, matter of fact, my Alexa on my desk is still set to Wisconsin weather, just so I can remind myself every day what they're dealing with. Now, right now, there's not, well, it's a little bit of a difference, but in February, when it's like -20, and I'm sitting on my pool lanai with a beverage, about to go dip into the pool, I'm very thankful for that. But it was all done intentionally. But I think, there was a season and time of life that you were in New Jersey and I was in Wisconsin, and it made me the man I am.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
I do not miss at all the New Jersey winters, nor do I miss the Boston winters. Those were
Yeah.
some cold, 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 cold winters.
You did say Boston, right, man? You had a little bit of Boston in you when you said that. Boston. I like
Well,
that.
the thing about Boston, and everybody does this, is they mix up the Long Island and the New Jersey, that tri-state accent,
Ah, okay.
with the Boston. So Boston, the accent, it's really like Pakyaka, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
And then in New Jersey and in New York and a little bit Pennsylvania, it's talking with your hands. It's like, where are
Yeah,
we
sure.
going? I got to go drink some coffee. And
Right on,
I
man.
grew up with the New Jersey, right? And so when I
Yeah.
went up to Boston, I realized like, man, people think like I'm a hoodlum. Like I got to stop this. And then Texas, I mean, I tell people this, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, we're kind of competitive, right? Different sports teams.
Yeah,
But
for
then you come
sure.
down here to Texas and you see like someone from Philadelphia. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? How you
Yeah,
doing? Like, have you
yeah.
been to these? They'll be like, oh, yeah. I had someone on the podcast yesterday. This was such a crazy coincidence, who owned a gelato shop called
Yeah,
Gelati's in my hometown,
yeah.
and it was like the most famous and well-renowned like gelato shop in the area that I was from. And I was like, there's no way that we're making this cosmic connection here on this show.
Right.
He's like, yo, before I got into the military, I owned that shop. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what a crazy small world. But I digress here, Dan. I
Yeah, man.
digress.
All good.
Talking about accents. Um, Going from wholesale to then another venture, I always think the path of a real estate entrepreneur, specifically those people who are involved in the wholesale
Yeah.
space, and I'm wondering if you have a similar path, is when I didn't have a deal, I was working for Nissan, I was selling cars. This is 3, 4 years ago. And I didn't know anything about anything. I said,
Mhm.
I've heard about this cash for keys thing. I've heard about wholesale. Do I need to go be a realtor. I had no idea. So I
Yeah.
just kind of started networking. I went to a RIA event. That
Hmm.
was kind of the beginning for me. I ended up working for a company that did, they were like a big box wholesale, dispositions company.
Yeah.
And that was my entryway in. I've now seen that people go from wholesale to fix and flip, maybe short-term, mid-term, long-term rental, maybe note buying.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Right.
Commercial. Do you think that there's a career path or maybe a couple of avenues that you've seen wholesalers take
Oh,
in their trajectory?
absolutely. My path is interesting because it brings me back to my roots. So I similarly started with, I actually didn't have the money for the Carlton Sheets course. I have it literally on my back shelf there here somewhere in there. For the sake of time, I won't pull it off, but it's the CD course of, Carlton Sheets. I still have to this day. I was supposed to return it to him, never did. Oh, well. Sorry, Kevin. I still have it if you need it. But that's where it started, right? Oh, you can buy money, no houses, no money down, and then of course you went to a RIA. I got some home study course. I bought in some webinars for money that I probably didn't have.
Me too.
Did bandit signs, and got my first deal. And every time I stuck out bandit signs, I got deals, right? So I just I wasn't treating it like a business early on. It's just like, hey, I need some extra cash. I need a quick 5, 7K. Boom, it worked, right? So
Yep.
then when I finally had gotten the nerves to quit, I had a good friend of mine's like, dude, you already got the plan, just do it. So then I kind of, dove head in. I took what little money I had from my sales job that I had at the time and invested that into my business and, kind of failed forward for quite some time. So I got into that point. I got into some fix and flips. I did well on some, did well, not so well on others, and
Yep.
realized that's not my space. I don't like dealing with contractors. I
Okay.
have a handful of rentals because my accountant said I probably should. And yeah, there's good tax advantages of doing that. I've done and still do to this day some real estate coaching. So I mentor people and helping them. That's really my true passion, truthfully. But at the end of the day, I came back to what I really know and love, and it's wholesaling. Like, I feel like I'm really good at talking to sellers and helping them through a challenging situation.
Yeah.
It's more than just get the contract. It's like, how are we changing someone's life? And anyone who's been in this business, as much as the bad rap as wholesalers get, the guys that do it well are the ones that usually do it with high ethics and are out to serve people. The people
Yeah.
that get the bad name are the guys that are just coming in, the low ballers, and like they have no intention of buying it or having even a way of dispositioning the property. And it's like, bro, you're not helping anyone and you're
No,
not going to get paid on it. So
you're
I
not.
guess that's where I've come down to. But to your point, Dylan, there's so many avenues. What's nice about wholesaling is it gets your foot in the game. Once you crack that seal on that first deal, it's almost like, and
Yeah.
Pandora's box opens and like the opportunities seem abundant, but you got to get past that first deal.
Do you remember that first deal that you had?
I do. I do vividly. So I put out a bandit sign, didn't know what I was doing, man. I didn't have the money. I did think they were like 3 or 400 bucks at the time.
Yeah.
I scraped together the pennies I had, maybe put on a credit card probably. Bought the box, put the signs out, all of a sudden the phone rings. I didn't answer it because I was too afraid. Here's some guy, I got this duplex. Now, in hindsight, if I look at that today, if I would have kept that thing, bro, that thing would be worth a penny, right?
Hmm.
But at the time, I was just looking for fast cash. So the
Yep.
guy's like, yeah, come on over. I looked at it. I had no idea what I was looking at. I was a greenhorn, bro. But I got there and vividly, he's like, well, what do you think? And I was sitting next to him in his yellow Datsun pickup truck. It was a Datsun pickup truck. And he's like, I'm like, what do you want for it? He's like, I want X. And I'm like, well, would you take Y? And it was like $1,000 less. And he's like, deal. And I mean, I don't know if I even had a deal, right? So I'm like, I shook his hand. We went the paperwork. I'm like, great, I got a contract. But then I'm crapping my pants. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I got to get rid of this thing. Like, I got to find a buyer. So then I just put on my hustle boots and started going on Facebook and started networking at local meetups. And lo and behold, someone's like, yeah, I'll buy that. And I'm like, crap, what am I going to charge for it? Because I've never done this before, right? I was just kind of figuring out. And, there wasn't the access to information back then when I started, like you can get on TikTok or YouTube today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, will you do it for $1,000 more? And the guy's like, yeah, I guess so. So I made $1,000 on my first deal, scared out of my pants, but I got the deal done. And I learned so much from it. And literally, to your point, Dylan, as I was saying, it was like once that happened, it helped me get past some of those limiting beliefs that held me back for so long.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Was this contracts that you had sourced from a course that you paid for? Did you close at a title company? Did you have a mentor in this?
Great questions. Yeah, we had obviously at the time the course that I had purchased. I think it was when Freedom Soft initially launched with Preston. He had all that stuff built in, so I just used what he had. And yeah, we went to a local title company. I had a relationship through the local RIA. And highly recommend if you're new in this industry that you definitely build a great relationship with the local club. They can get you connected with all that stuff. Yeah, they closed. Everything was good. I got my check. Like, well, that was pretty easy. And I kind of did that haphazardly for the next 3 to 4 years.
Okay, so man, what an amazing story. So proof of concept, you get that first deal. I want to pivot back to something you said early on in the show here, Dan, talking about building wealth, but not being worthy or feeling worthy to get to that next step. I would actually dare to say most people, I can definitely speak, I've traveled a lot. Most Americans probably relate to this, or they're unconsciously relating to this.
Yeah.
Things like, I could never be a real estate investor. What do I know about, managing houses or
Right.
a lot of this type of thing. But I think even as a wholesaler who's making big assignment fees, there could come into play some of these mental blocks. Walk me through that and how that ended up you overcame it.
Yeah, man, thank you. That's a huge part of my story and really how I help people, because I read a study recently, and I don't know where this came from. I think it's true, but they said like 95% of new real estate investors quit in the first year. So I'm like, I don't know if that's accurate. It seemed pretty large to me, but even if that's not true, there's a large amount of people that go so far and never see it through. Now, whether or not they do a deal or not, I don't know. I guess what was for me is I had a lot of typical what I find, Dylan, is that as I'm working with people or if I'm working with students, I find that there's things in our past or history that kind of make us who we are, right? That age from like 3 to 8 to 3 to 9 is so formable. So if we've had past traumas, past situations in our life, that forms who we are as we become an adult. Or maybe we had a crazy situation in our life that now is our reference point moving forward. So for me, I didn't have a lot of good people that manage money well. As a matter of fact, I had a point in my time where I almost lost my home on foreclosure because I didn't manage money well. I had a career early in food service, made a lot of money, and then, didn't manage it. And next thing you know, it wasn't for a friend of mine, I'd be homeless, right?
Yep.
So, but all these things had these limiting beliefs in my mind. And I think that's what took me it took me 12 years to figure it out. And then when I finally teamed up with some business partners that saw worth in me, they're like, hey, Dan, we're good at the systems. You're great at the sales. Why don't we just join forces? And it was very healthy. It was a great relationship. Good friends of mine to this day. That was always our mantra. Like, if we ever quit the business, we're not going to lose our friendship. And it was set up right with the right paperwork and the legal stuff on the front end. The exit was about as clean as it's going to get. So where this really took me is that the real tipping point for this, Dylan, was when that moment came and they said, hey, Dan, we love you. We don't love being in this business. I had to have a gut check. Because even at that point, we were doing, maybe 2 to 3 deals a month, maybe as a good month for us, right? Making okay money. But I'm like, now I got to do this by myself. And I had to quickly, and I call this a God thing, quite honestly, because my friend of mine forever had been trying to get me to go to Tony Robbins. I'm like, man, I don't got time for this. Well, I had time and I needed it. So I went to the virtual event. And if anyone's been to a UPW, that will change your life if you really allow it. And it really went to the core of my self-limiting beliefs of me not being worthy, me not deserving wealth, me someone that goes from I can't generate wealth to being like wealth is attracted to me. And now seeing through that, I push past those hard things because I know I can do this. And it's not because it's about me, Dylan. It's about that I want to impact other people. I want to impact more sellers. I want to impact my family. I want to impact my friends. I want to be able to give things and have the ability to do that. And when I have this abundance, I can serve and be more for more people. In so much now that I have a small team, I'm serving them, they're providing for their families. So it's just, I guess my mindset shifted. And I used to be in an industry that was so ego and self focused. I had to change that as well.
For me, I've noticed that most people who do not, I would say, delve into the realm of networking, or I call it like guerrilla networking, being a
Yeah.
networking junkie, tend to look at like promotions, and if you're in a W-2 job, or getting ahead in any type of organization, whatever, even a group of people, right? Just friends. And then they tend to look at it almost negatively when people have connections that build them up, that
Right.
maybe enable them to leapfrog steps because of people that they know.
Right.
And
Right.
I was one of those people. I was one of these quote unquote haters who was like, man, that person, they didn't put in the work, or whatever the case may be. What I now realize from hosting this show and from just really taking my networking up to
Right.
another level is that the networking is actually a skill, and
100%.
that being able to serve other people is actually like the fastest way to have other people serve you, in effect. Like giving out lots of free information,
Hmm.
that ends up, if you're really going to go X's and O's, like that builds
Yes.
out a funnel. People start coming to you because they see you, posting or putting on seminars, or in the case of RIA, is a free event, and then you might go pay for a larger event. And
Yeah.
so once I tapped into that, I started to realize like, whoa, whoa, whoa. There's something to this. I don't need to know everything about everything, but if I can meet as many people and have some type of a impact on them, like that could change my life.
Well, I think that's huge too, because early on you think is maybe, and they always say get in a room of people you want to be at. So there can be somewhat of an inferiority complex of like, what can I add value to Dylan? Dylan's been in this industry for a while. Like, what can I do? Well, some of it is just going and being present and asking good questions. And sometimes it's that outside perspective that you can bring value to someone. So if you're that person that maybe had that, and I as well had a limiting belief on that for a long time too, it's like, just go there, do that. You have
Yeah.
to do uncomfortable things, right? No one who's made anything just had it all figured out day one. No, nothing was given to them. They had to do hard stuff. They had to make tough conversations. But you're 100% right. I would be nowhere today if it wasn't for the connections and the people that I've made great friendships with that have helped kind of pick me up when I've been at my lowest, right? But also I've been able to partner with and do business with. It's been an exciting journey. And I think that's so important in life, that you need to find those people. And I would just say mentorship too is such a huge thing in
Huge.
this. If you don't have a mentor in some form of your life, I currently have, I think last time I counted 5 different mentors for different things in my life right now. But you need that. You need that guidance. You need those people. And that as well can sometimes help connect you with the right people you need to find out. So
I've gone so far as that, as even saying like, if there's something that someone has that maybe I'm not a perfect fit for, but
mhm.
it's something that they're making money off of,
Yeah.
right? In the real estate space, maybe they are, hosting events, or maybe they have some type of tool that is related to, outreach, right? And if I can patronize them, that'll bring them into my orbit, right? And so
Yes.
if I just want to be around them, right? Now we're kind of in a symbiotic relationship. Previously, I would have looked at all of these opportunities, and this isn't that long ago. This is like 6 months ago.
Oh
I would
wow.
have looked at so many of these opportunities and said, well, yeah, but I don't really need what it is that they do. They're a great person, but how can I benefit them if I'm not really utilizing their
Right.
whatever it is that they're doing? And now I'm like, the whole reason why I'm on this show is because I cold called someone when I had a deal under contract. They didn't buy the deal, but they referred me to the owner of the show.
Yeah. That's
And it's
awesome,
like,
man.
these connections. I'm curious, and pivoting a bit here, Dan,
Yeah.
when you went from wholesale to the next juncture with your business
Yeah.
partners, what was the growth process like there, and how did that end up matriculating?
Yeah, I mean, so that story is kind of amazing. So they had come to my house and pitched me on a slide deck saying, "Hey Dan, we want you." Like they got back from a mastermind and they said, "You need acquisitions," and they knew that I was probably one of the better ones, if not, I'm not to my own home, but I was known in the industry of getting deals, right, in my
Yeah.
market. So they came to me, presented it, and I was very fortunate because they came and said, "Listen, we're going to front all the money. We're going to make you 50% owner. You just need to go do the grind." I'm like, "Done." So you just want my sweat equity in this, and you're going to front all the money. Well, we paid them back in like a month or two. We were making regular deal flow. They had all the systems and the processes in place. So that was great. And we were trying to grow. The biggest challenge that we had in that was because there was 3 owners.
Mm.
And they had their own thing they were doing, and they're amazing. They're great friends of mine, but they were doing their side ventures. I was trying to do this. And whenever we had to make a business decision, it was hard to get on the same page.
Page.
And the one thing I've learned through that is that in this industry with any business, you have to sometimes make quick decisions. And the more you have to wait on stuff, you lose out on opportunities or you lose that momentum, right?
Yep.
So it served me for a season in the life that I was in. Those 3 years were important to me because it built foundational things of how to run a business. I learned a lot about the importance of having culture. And that's when I reformed my current entity, House Buyer Dan. I started first with culture. Like, what are my core values? What's my mission statements? And everything filters through that. I put that first, even before I even got the marketing and stuff put together. Like, that was foundational for me. And it serves me because all the people I have now, Dylan, would run through a wall for me. They're bought into what I'm doing, not because I'm someone special, but they're a part of the process. And my core values align with that.
Wow. That's fantastic. Are all the people that you have, are they based out of that area as well? Are they throughout the country? Where are they based out of?
Yeah, we're 100% virtual. So we do all our business out of Wisconsin and Northeast Wisconsin, the Green Bay area primarily is our home market. But we have one guy who's in market, but we don't. The way we do it is they don't have to go to the property. We have other services or boots on the ground that does all the vetting for us to make sure that it is what it is. The seller says, not that they would ever be, not upfront about their properties. That would never happen. But we verify everything to make sure our numbers work. But right now I have 2 people in Nigeria. They're brothers, and I love them to bits. They're some of the best human beings in the world. I have another gentleman who does my acquisitions out of California. Another guy is in market. I do have one lady that I just brought on as my assistant. She does live here in the Fort Myers area. And then the rest of my people are virtual as well. I have someone in Egypt and someone in Pakistan, and we're looking to hire 2 to 3 more people probably the next 30 to 60 days. So
I have a good buddy in Islamabad. Completely changed my perspective of just the world, right? It's amazing.
You're right. Like, if you've not been cultured like that, like getting someone like that is not that I had any negative connotations to people like that, but I have a better appreciation for I ask a lot of questions about culture. Like, if I came to your house, what dish would you serve me?
Yeah.
I want to know more about them personally. They're not just there to call sellers and get contracts. I want them to feel like they're a part of something bigger. Like, yes, my name is on the company. It's House Buyer Dan, but they're House Buyer Dan. It's just my likeness, and I'm the visionary behind it. So I want them to feel like they're part of everything. And that's why my culture is so important. That, yeah, we've had people come and go over the last few years, but the core group of people have been with me since the beginning. And the people that don't want to be part of that culture self-select themselves out.
Yeah. Dan, we are coming up on time here. Where can folks go to get a hold of you?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few different options. Obviously, I mean, I'm on all the socials. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's @HouseBuyerDan. Same thing on YouTube, TikTok. That's the same handle. I'm on Facebook. It's just my name, Dan Ahlborn, Ahlborn. And if anyone wants to hear about my full story, I actually just wrote a book. It's called Flipping My Identity, and talks about how I went from foreclosure to Florida. And I documented the whole story. And I'll give it away for free. Anyone who wants it, just reach out to me, and I'll get that out to you guys.
Dan, thank you so much for coming on the show here today.
Hey, Dylan, appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.